some point the trades are just too good and they can actually keep us from closing out. It's weird. It's one of
This
those
deck
things where
has no block. It's running Jarvan free. No.
can you explain why you didn't block the 3/2 with Demolitionist? I can't remember. Did that come up?
Did you have Demolition on board when they swung to 3/2?
I don't think I
I don't remember the exact play. I was gonna say we could always, like I said, we could always watch the YouTube. We can always watch the replay after.
if that was the case, then I think this person would be correct about that being a misplay, especially if Demolitionist could have removed whatever
I think you
I
run the free
ended
of
up
these.
blocking with. Can you give a little bit more detail on it? What exactly was
Oh, he's saying the horror, not Demolitionist.
the
Blocking.
horror?
The horror blocking.
Okay. Or you didn't block the 3/2.
No, I think it was because you blocked the 3/3 with your Demolitionist.
No, it's called a Saboteur.
Or the Saboteur, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree we should have gone for the trade.
That was
Honestly, I think that might have been an oversight. Definitely a misplay if that did happen.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, jumping with the Saboteur doesn't open us up to a sharp sight at that moment, but they can sharp sight on the next attack anyway, so maybe it's just not worth playing around.
Okay. So while we wait for Wecker,
I don't know. I don't think that Jarvan Shen list looks a bit scuffed, man.
it's the list that's played.
Don't you just take Jarvan, or sorry, not Jarvan, Fiora Shen, trade out the Fioras for Jarvans, trade out the Cythrias for Jarvans?
Yes. That's literally what the list
I
is.
mean, I'm honestly convinced Cythria is a better better unit than King J.
I think Cythria is a better unit than J3.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you could always just cut the 2 Jarvan 3s and add the 2 Cythrias.
Does it run on Bright Steel?
It does not run Bright Steel.
Could be worth running like a 1 of Bright Steel.
It's running 2 Fleet Footer, 2 Greenblade Caretaker, which I think are either running free and free or 0 and free. I don't think it's correct to run 2 and 2 because you can't look for something specifically then. I think Fleet Footer is really good right now actually. But then you need to run Bright Steel, which is not there, and yeah, Golden Aegis is good. Let's see. Golden Aegis is good.
Yeah, I think Jarvan 3 is actually underrated. I mean, if you have your board generally stays alive, and if you play Jarvan 4 on turn 6 and then into a Jarvan 3 with on attack token on 7, I think that can just easily blow out a
Jarvan free is a win more card. It's not a win condition.
Being a boat for Jarvan 4 is okay. I think Bright Steel could potentially be more influential, which is why I brought it up.
Okay.
Bright Steel formation? Yeah, I'd say so too. Yeah, Bright Steel formation is better top end than J free, I'd say. Yeah, the issue with J free is that if you're already being able to trade into the enemy board, then you're winning already. So let's win more.
I think we could just run the popular list, but our take is that I think J3 is a bit of a weak deck building.
Like if you have J free, you just run Bright Steel, it accomplishes the same thing, gets you ahead, but Bright Steel also lets you have a really good comeback mechanic. If you only have like free units, they value trade for 6 if the enemy is forced to attack and they have to block it on defense. So like this is just better than J free, I'm pretty sure. Golden Aegis is fine as rally effect. 2 single combat? No 2 single combat. Okay, yeah, Aggro is 2 Spirits Refuge. I'm pretty sure it's like cut the nope. We could also cut the deny actually. It might be a bit full though. We'll
I
see.
think cutting deny is a bit too much. We're looking to play towards our top end, and after all, this is pure Shen. We're not like turbo aggroing.
Just run like
Hmm.
bright steel instead of 2 bright
I don't know
steel.
about double bright steel. That gets a bit too heavy.
It's usually double bright steel though.
So in terms of matchups,
Mm-hmm.
what do you guys' take on this? Because I think it might be closer to 50-50, maybe slightly favored
So
for J4.
some Shen lists tech Tasty Faithful as an anti-aggro tool, and if they're running that, I think it's really bad for you.
Yeah.
Because not only is that a fearsome blocker, it's a fearsome blocker through Skitterer with lifesteal. That's absolutely massive. Other than that, like you just have to worry about Laurent Protege trades down the board favorably for them. They can trade. They can eat an Arachnoid Horror and still block a non-fearsome unit. They can. They can of course Spirit's Refuge on a block to gain some health back.
So according to Mobalytics, the Spider player has a 59% win rate against the Jarvan Shen.
So
Current list,
if that's the case, then my guess is the Spider player ends up outracing them more often
Yeah,
than
because you have no good early blockers. Like all of your early blockers are really, really, really bad, and you don't have Fjord. So nerf.
Yeah, one of the big things about Fiora Shen is that it has Fiora as just a very strong draw against aggro. And Jarvan, not only does Jarvan not literally say win the game on the card, but he's 6 mana, which makes you considerably slower against aggro.
So he's probably not even in the game for a significant amount of those
Yeah, if they get
matchups.
Jarvan down, then you're either trying to close out the game with burn or you've.
Yeah. It's at a point in the game where no longer matters. Okay, so
You doing, Wicker?
Use theory crafting, a superior version.
I don't know. I don't want to buy 2 Jarvans, which is a big.
All right, I'll play list. I'll play list then.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch
I
back to
was gonna
Koko's perspective.
okay. I was gonna say if you wanted, we can have
I
meet.
have the list, so
Okay.
So I think we should talk about the closely related list of Lulu with Shen, and I would assume that does a little bit better than the
It's
Jarvan
better
version.
because you're running Faithful main deck.
Yeah, not only do you get to do a lot of trading and even just outright killing their units for free early, but you also can potentially race them if they have a slower draw and you have a faster draw.
No, I think you're never actually the aggressor in that matchup.
I think you never need to be the aggressor, but I think you could with the right lineup of draws.
That requires the Spider Aggro to like hard brick on burn, like free Noxburger to decimate hand.
Okay. So let's see here. So like always, I think we'd be looking to open on curve, fearsome units.
Based on off you should stream.
Yep. So these bright steals are great for early game to stop early game aggression. But I think having multiple of them is just not beneficial.
Good hand.
Very good hand.
So my hand is very clunky. I didn't obviously, as Wecker had pointed out earlier, the list currently only runs 4 1-drops instead of the normal 6. So not having a turn 1 play for my bright steel on turn 2 makes this very awkward.
I don't think it's that. No, I don't think it's that.
Why not?
Because at least it's better.
I think this pushes more damage, and that's why I did it. And
Why is the push more damage? It pushes 1 extra if they have a blocker, I guess. But
So there's argument to play Brightsteel here to block to mitigate the amount of damage that we're taking, but since we have Screeching Dragon in hand and I also have a Spirit's Refuge, I think I'm just gonna pass here and hopefully try to find a unit for turn 3. This is a lot
If
of
he doesn't play
damage.
something for the rear guard, this is a lot of damage.
Yeah.
This is even an awkward block. Even if he does play Brightsteel, it's an he doesn't want to be blocking rear guard with Brightsteel since it's a potential fearsome blocker, but I think he might be forced to in this situation.
So my argument right now with not playing my Brightsteel is that I have Sharp Sight in hand, so I could potentially play Brightsteel next turn and then have the Sharp Sight back up so I could block 2 different units. Because my hand, I don't have any units in my hand, but I think taking 7 damage here is just too much. So I will have to be forced to block this.
so I think in hindsight, this was the best outcome possible because if Elisa came down instead, he would get much better value for his
yeah,
block
that's true.
that turn.
I agree.
I like playing triple 1-drop in the first 2 turns if you have it.
Yeah, it's a good line.
So, unfortunately, this is the Jarvan Shen archetype, to where sometimes you just draw your spells and you don't draw any units.
A pretty good open,
So
yeah.
It's an open. It's an
Yeah, this is
open.
an open.
yeah, I
Pushing
think so as
7.
well.
Pushing 7, you go down to, and then you smack him in the face.
Yeah, he doesn't have an opportunity to Shen.
Alright, so we found our first unit.
Okay, so at this point, I think we start
Yeah, I think so.
learning him. Huh. I like this.
I like that too.
I think we burst pass.
Yeah, that's something that I still forget,
So,
but it's so
So
good.
because he's under a lot of pressure to single something here, because otherwise Elise flips. So we can be pretty confident that he's going to spend mana on this burst pass.
so the likelihood, so if I were to single combat something, I personally would feel like I need to single combat the Elise, because it's less likely that he has a second Elise so he can level up Elise than he has another third spider in his hand. So it might be slightly inefficient, but I'm going to use my Sharp Sight here so that I can kill his Elise off, because I feel like she poses the most threat. And since he only runs 3 Elises in the deck, it's unlikely that he has a second one, but
Yeah,
it's
that would have
very
been
likely that
absolutely devastating if he got fervored there.
Yeah.
So yeah, at this point in the game, I think we've done enough
Yeah,
damage to
just
where
slap the burn.
it doesn't matter whether or not Elise stays on the board.
Yeah, we just have
We can
burn and
just
1 more wide swing.
yeah.
Fierce Refuge is 2 mana inefficient, and he doesn't have a high power unit to use it with.
So I always develop here because I need to try to challenge and kill as many units as possible here.
And we always say no to
Punish.
that.
Punish, yeah. Not that
Not
one.
that one.
Not that one.
Not that
Not
one.
that one. No,
No, the other one. The one that sticks around.
Okay.
We're trolling a little, not a lot.
We do a little trolling. We gaming.
I mean, okay, so here's my perspective on why that would have been okay. He needs to swing this turn, but he is challenger, so that wouldn't matter. Right.
Not that one. No.
Okay.
So I always challenge one of the fearsome units here because it's something I can't block on my turn.
Pass.
I mean,
Think
I think
we're
we just
looking-
double develop here, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's stunned his big dude.
Yeah, I agree.
Big man. Big strong man.
So now he's stunned this unit. At most we can block a 3/2. So that means we're gonna take 6, 7. We'll take 9 damage as it currently stands. So that means we have to develop further. And hope that he just doesn't have another unit.
9's also an important number because that means he can't live with just a Spirit's Refuge.
Yep. So that means I have to develop here, and hope that he doesn't have another unit. But or burn spell, which is just very unlikely. It
Oh,
was
he's
just very.
tapped out.
Yeah, I'm tapped out.
This
My
is a
early.
skitter angle.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just
I'm
skitter her
pretty
here because it pushes the most damage.
Yep. So unfortunately, I didn't find any early game units. I found all of my spells, and it forced me into a situation where I just took a lot of extra damage. I wasn't able to trade properly. Most ideal blocks would be here, and then we're still dead.
right. Huh. Okay. Well,
He's died.
I guess
He's dead, Jim.
this is a favorable matchup. Like this felt decisive, but it's a one of, so you can only say so much based on a one of.
Mhm.
No, the issue is they don't have blockers,
Yeah,
and the
they don't have
ratioing of
Fiora.
2
They
and
don't have
2.
early game units. It seems like they've just pawned off a lot of the early game for the Jarvan engine, which I don't agree with. I think the personal take, I just think the Lulu build is a bit stronger. But
I
yeah,
think you want to go free Fleet Fetter, 1 Greenglade. I prefer free Greenglade, 1 Fleet Fetter as a 1 free ratio. It's better than 2-2 in my opinion. And I think you do want Tasty Faith Focus. It's good. It's a good card.
yeah. Tasty
Yeah, with the
Faithful,
amount of aggro.
especially in the current meta, Tasty Faithful is just a very good tech. You can run
Yep.
it as a 2 of.
Yep, with the amount of
You could
aggro
also
this
try
time
1
around.
Young Witch, but Young Witch.
That's a bit stronger in like the Lulu lists.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So
You go 1 Young Witch. It works really well with Fleet Fetter on 1.
Yep. So, uh, yeah, like I said, with the amount of aggro going around, the list that I currently just played, which is the most popular list, I don't think is very good if you're facing a lot of aggro. Like the suggestions that we pointed out, adding units such as Tasty Feyfolk to help you trade early. Tasty Feyfolk is amazing into the Spider matchup because even if they play one Skitterer, you can still block and you get to heal 3, which is sometimes amazing. And then I would go up 1-drops or something because having only 4 1-drops in the deck makes units like Bright Steel very, very awkward early game. Because I was
4 is enough. Yeah, 4
you
is
think 4
enough,
is,
I
you
think.
think 4 is enough?
Yeah, 4 is enough.
Okay,
Because 4 it gives you a good chance to find one on turn 1, and you only really need 1.
that's true.
I just think it's better to go on a 3-on-1 ratio because you'd much rather see Greenglade than Fleet Fetter usually.
All right.
Just because Greenglade gives you 2 free power units on turn 2. So actually very significant with a
Mm-hmm.
bright.
Mm-hmm. So that was this week's showcasing of Spider Aggro against 4 of the popular meta decks. As you can see, why it's so popular right now is it has a pretty good win percentage against other decks right now. Uh, like I said, in the Azir Lucian matchup, it came down to one decisive turn to where the Lucian player was able to rally. The Lysandra Trundle list, had it found it just a little bit more reach, it would have been able to secure that victory as well. And then in the Lee Sin and Zoe list, it was very decisive because of the keyword fearsome, made it so that their blockers weren't very effective. And then against the Jarvan Shen list, they went very wide and was able to beat me down, beat beat down the Jarvan player before they were able to develop a board successfully.
Go face
I
Windy.
will say I think Spider Aggro is very strong right now, actually, like unironically.
hmm
Yeah, stats definitely say so.
I definitely think if you're trying to climb with a consistent deck, I believe Spider Aggro has about a 57% win rate right now. So it's
By the
definitely a deck
mobilytic
that
stats.
by the
Asterisk.
mobilytic stack, yeah, by the mobilytic stats, it has a
Oh,
57% win rate. So
still really good, yeah.
you're winning slightly more than you're losing. So it makes it
I
a
mean,
decent
yeah,
deck to climb
go
with.
climb. True.
You just,
Okay, I
you just
think
need
that wraps it up this week.
Yep. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to post them in the University of Runeterra, and we'll address them as they come up. But other than that, thank you for everybody for coming out, and the videos will be posted online later today if you want to watch the
Yeah,
replays.
thanks for coming out, guys.
All right, everybody have a great day.